guys, please. Whatever you want to say. Okay. And, I forgot something. So first, we have certificates for Barcelona, a welcoming city. Thank you for participating in GIF. And we have a certificate for the walnut tree. Thank you very much. Okay, and we also have Lina joining us. So first, if you guys want to, I'll just hand you the mic and you can just introduce yourselves, and, then we'll kind of go from there. So I'll start with you.
Okay, so my name is Kato and I come from Belgium. And the co-housing community you saw my film is also in Brussels, so it's also a Belgian community. And I studied in Amsterdam, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Nice. Hey, I'm Christin. I studied visual anthropology here in Göttingen, and you've seen my film, or our film, but as I said, Barcelona, a welcoming city. And I'm currently living in Barcelona, and I came here for the festival, and I'm very happy to see you all. Thanks for the invitation.
And Lina, if you'd like to introduce yourself and say a few words.
Hello, everybody. I am Lina. I'm happy to be with you, all of you, only virtually right now because I'm here in New York. But on Saturday, I will arrive in Göttingen. And if you're still there, we can see each other in person also.
Okay, fabulous. We'll just have a little discussion, and then if anyone in the audience has any questions, just put your hand up at any time, and Matthias will come with a mic, and we shall hear your question. So the first question that, I really wanted to ask is, we've seen the films, we've enjoyed the films, but what was part of the filmmaking process, or what was part of the films that we didn't see that you all want us to know about? Anybody can answer.
The first thing I thought about was the decision-making process in the community is a film on itself. Like how they do this and like all the processes they go through. They also do a lot of workshops on how to communicate, and so it's like it was an extra topic, but it was too much. Another thing is you could see that the community is actually in the middle of a city, so it's not like it's not really in nature. And for most people, that's also interesting. Like how do they combine that, like living in a city in a community? That's also something that's not shown in the film, but it's interesting.
I'll continue. I also thought about all the people that were involved in the project. I mean, you've seen people in the film, you've seen people speaking, you've read a lot of names in the credits at the end of the film, but you don't see all the people that took part in the project and the collectives that put their energy, their time, their knowledge, and also that shared the authorship with me in that project. And I think that's something that's super important. And also to mention that it's not a film that I feel like it's my film, but I would rather say like it's a collective process. And I bet you feel similar, having seen your short film as well. So it's like, also about collaborative processes that have been going on in the preparation, in the filming, and also in the editing and all the post-production process.
Thank you. Lina, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, for my project, well, what you don't see, I think, is a lot. Well, I mean, like you hopefully understood the concept of the film, that the film is made of the footages of the youth prisoners. And actually, I collected around 5 terabytes of film material. So I was actually thinking if a documentary film is even the right medium, or if something like an archive or a database or something where people can actually get access to all of the videos that has been taken that are part of the project, could yeah could watch or whatever. So I just wanted to say what you just saw is only bits and pieces of what is actually there.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of reminds me of what I took away from all three of your films is kind of how does one piece fit into the larger picture? How does the larger picture serve the one piece, the individual? I thought that was a really nice theme that was kind of spread throughout. So do we have any questions from the audience at this time? Yeah. This is our first, so we're getting used to all the technical stuff.
So thank you so much. Very wonderful films, the three films from this session, and really I think it's a very interesting session to think about how do we live in a community, in a world that is communal. My question goes to Lina. I was wondering about how this film came out in your life, because it's such, I don't know, it seems like it's a very kind of hidden place, like this prison, and I was curious about something about your background and how you came to make this film and have this idea, if you could tell us about it, and also maybe the others to tell us about this process, also if it's part of like a academic project or something more like a personal project, or yes. Thank you.
Okay, maybe I will just start. So the background about this project is I lived in Madagascar for quite some time, maybe more than 2.5 years in total, maybe, and I learned the language and got to know the culture. And eventually, I visited that prison because a friend of mine took me there, would um, who would facilitate activities in that prison. And then I found that place very well. It's always so difficult to find the right words because I don't want you to get me wrong. First of all, I mean, it's a very depressing place because, as you saw, the living conditions are very, very bad. And there's a lot of injustice also in that prison. But what I also saw was that there was some kind of energy, a lot of creativity. I really felt that the boys wanted to make something of their own. They wanted to kind of transform their energy into something like a product. This was when I was there in 2013. I already did a small project there, and then I always had the feeling I want to come back and kind of give them something like a tool to use their creativity actually. And that's when I came up with that film project where I where I taught them about the basics of filmmaking and using the camera, and then actually handing them over the cameras. And during that process, I started in 2017 and I was in the prison for 3 months every day. In the beginning, I started to teach filmmaking, but only shortly after that, actually, they took over the responsibility and decided themselves what they wanted to capture, what they wanted to film, and they also decided to conduct those interviews. And yeah, I like that development very much, because that was actually my intention, that through the process I became more and more, let's say, useless, or not useless, but they would actually really call me when the battery was low, or I would have to run to hand them something, because I became the assistant. They really, yeah, they took over, and this was I thought it was also an empowering thing for them to do. And maybe just to add 2 more sentences, because it was not only that first 3 months workshop, but after that, I returned in 2018 to teach them editing. You can also see it in the film. And yeah, but in the end, I edited the film. So just to be clear, not 10 people edited the film, but only me. But still, I wanted to really share also this very important experience of editing your own film, because for me, it felt like it really strengthens the relationship of the filmmaker to his or her own film. So this was the reason why I went back and I taught them editing. Yeah, so that's, and some of the parts that they edited are also in the film, actually. For example, the going forth and back, because they were trying around with all the effects in Premiere in that editing program, and some of it actually, yeah, is in the film. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's a small overview of my background and how the project came to be.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I loved the parts where we saw the editing in the film as well. I thought that was a really nice way to, see how the process came to be. Did either of y'all want to answer the question?
Yeah. I basically had the idea to do this film because when I came first to Barcelona, it was in 2015, and there was a time when the city hall put up this huge banner, which you've seen in the film as well, where it says "Refugees Welcome." And I stood there like among a lot of tourists and was like, wow, look at that, it's amazing. Nice. And then I went through the city and I saw a lot of really tough living conditions. I got known to the immigrant detention center. I got really close friends with one of the street vendors. I got known to several collectives, and I was like, step by step, learning that the image that they've built up is just an image, a political image. And I was basically, before going to Barcelona, I was involved in the anti-racist struggle in Berlin and also here in Göttingen. And I felt a lot of anger when finding that out, because I felt like it's always the same. Like, no matter where you are, institutional racism is always there, and social racism as well. It just takes like different shapes. And in the different cities, even I felt like the mechanisms are similar. So I found, I found like I wanted to make that film. It actually came from a moment where I was like angry, and I was like, I can't stand to do nothing, and I want to use the situation that I am in and the position that I am and my knowledge to do something against this, or to do something that, that just demands and now I'm thinking in Spanish, that like tells how things are, and shows the living conditions. And then I got in contact with the collectives and I got a good support, or basically we were working together on this project, so it all came together in this like really long-term way, but it was a really good and creative process also with the collectives together.
For me, it was my master project. So it was, but I was lucky to, you could see it was personal as well. So it was a mixture of an academic and personal project. So I was really lucky to be able to do that. Because it was, I started my master during the pandemic, and I had to think about my project in a time where I had so many questions about, just about the self, and there were so many things going on. So this was the outcome.
Just that I was also doing this as a personal project and also as a master project. Like it started actually as a master thesis, and then it just got spread out widely. It took 3 years to do the project. There was basically no funds, so it also became a very personal project.
That's, thank you so much. It's really interesting how all the different films came to be and the people that you worked with. And we all saw that you made fabulous films. So thank you both, or all, so much for being here. It looks like we are out of time now for this discussion section, but the filmmakers will be here and Lina will be here later in the week. We also have their emails and information available, so if you have any more questions, you can definitely reach out. I'm sure everyone will be happy to answer your questions. So now we're going to have a quick 10-minute break or so, and at 4:35, we will start our next section in our next film. So thank you so much. Thank you. You all did a very good job as well.